Hello, future boss babe. Today we are going to be going over all the multiple things you can do in order to start up your business with no money. Now, you know that in order to start a business, you need funding, and that is exactly what we're going to go over right now. So the number one thing we're going to be going over is grants. So there's different companies that they offer grants meaning free money. There's different companies like Visa, like FedEx, and like NACE. NACE stands for the National Association of the Self-Employed. They give out every single month $4,000 free of grants. All you have to do is go into their website and apply, and you can literally get free money. It's that simple, honestly. So grants, the way that they work is that once you qualify and once they give it to you, they instantly give you that free money and you don't have to pay it back. So that is the number one way in order for you to make money for your business. Now, the second way in order for you to achieve funding in your business is the SBA microloans, and this one I have used myself. This one I feel completely super good about because I know that it actually works, and that is honestly one of the loans that I got in order to open my venue. So I am very genuine and happy with this type of microloan system of the SBA. So the SBA stands for Small Business Administration, and their job is basically to help business owners like you, like me, like all of us to keep on exploring and to keep on opening and to keep on growing our businesses, because without any businesses there will be no economy. So the SBA, it's a government based system that they basically help entrepreneurs like us to get funding in order to open up our business or to continue elevating our business. Now, in order for you to qualify for an SBA loan, they are going to ask you for a couple of different things. They are going to ask you for a business plan. So this goes back to the other module that I hope you saw because it's before this video. So make sure you don't skip any content because then everything will come. So going back to that video, this is why you need a business plan, because a lot of times when you ask for these loans and these funding programs, they're going to ask you for a business plan. Another thing they're going to be asking you for is your bank statements. They want to see how much revenue you're currently making on your current business, just to make sure that you do have an actual business going on, because they want to make sure that they're going to make their money back. Another thing they're going to be asking you for is the age of business. So obviously the longer in business, the higher opportunity you have of them actually giving you a high amount of money because you're an established business. They're not gonna give you a huge amount in the beginning when it's a brand new business. But then again, what's most important is I don't want you to feel bad if they give you $2,000 or $5,000 and be like, oh, that's nothing. Like, don't see it that way, because the most important thing when you start working with the SBA or any other business loan funding program is that you become basically like a family. You start a connection with them. So let's say they give you $2,000 now and you just use it immediately. If you could pay it off super fast, that's even better, because you're gonna see that you are doing good in making all your payments on time and even before time. And guess what? They're gonna keep on getting that loan higher and higher and higher and higher, which is exactly what you want. So don't get discouraged if you only get a pre-approval letter for $2,000 or $5,000. What's important is to get in, because that relationship could continue on growing to something even bigger. Another thing that is extremely important when you apply is you want to make sure you add all your information, like your website, your social media. The more proof you basically tell them, hey, I am a legal business, this is what I am doing for a living, and this is what you're going to give me if you qualify me. That it's another thing that's really important to add on in all the applications, especially on the SBA. Another form of funding that I myself have used is the business line of credit. There's multiple ways for you to get a business line of credit. For example, in my case, one of the ones that I got was through Wells Fargo because my business account is with Wells Fargo. So when I went to the bank, they basically saw my history I have with them. They also see how much money comes in from my Square, my merchant processor, and they qualified me once for 50 grand, which was amazing for me. That's actually another loan that I use for my venue. So what I'm trying for you guys to see is the importance of having a good business history credit. That is like the main picture here. So by having a good business credit, you're going to have multiple business lines of credit that are going to approve you. I'm going to be mentioning another one that it's also really good, which is Blue Vine. The other one that's really popular is Lendio, and there's also On Deck, and there's also Kabbage. Kabbage I also applied for once, and they did give me like $20,000, but I didn't end up using it because I had applied during the same time of the Wells Fargo one, and I ended up using the Wells Fargo one, and I never ended up using the Kabbage. And what happens is that they kind of want you to use the money right away. If you kind of just leave it there like just waiting, it could just harm you. So I just ended up not accepting that loan. But what I'm trying to say is the more you apply, the more opportunities you're gonna have to get approved for lines of credit. Another thing I highly recommend for you to do is whenever you do decide that you're going to apply for loans, try to apply for all those loans the same day. So for example, let's say you want to apply for these four that I mentioned and the one in your Wells Fargo or whatever bank you have. Let's say you have Chase. Whenever you decide to apply for that bank, apply for all of them all in the same time, because when you apply for all of them in the same time, they're not gonna see like all your credit history. So they're not gonna see, let's say now you applied for Kabbage, or you applied for Lendio, or you applied for your Chase. Chase is not gonna be able to see that you just applied for Kabbage. They're not gonna be able to see that you applied for the other one. So you're gonna have higher chances of being approved for all of them, literally, because they're really just going to see whatever expenses you currently have versus, let's say now I'm gonna put myself as an example. Let's say now they run my credit. They're going to see that I have a loan from Wells Fargo. They're going to see that I have a loan from SBA because they are already in my credit history, my business credit history. So they're going to take into consideration the payments that I make, how much I owe, and based on that, they're going to approve me. Versus if you don't have maybe anything, you could get approved from like 2-3, which is exactly what I did back when I applied. So that is the importance of doing the business line of credit. Whenever you do the application, want to make sure you do the application of all of them at the same time, so you have like higher approval rates. Now, the third thing that I'm going to be talking about is business credit cards. It's something completely different. A business credit card is one thing, and a business line of credit is something completely different. This is super easy for you to like achieve first. I would highly recommend to go this route first, to get your business bank account ready. Again, you can apply for like multiple ones. Also, when you do apply for them, one of the ones that is really good is the Chase Ink, which I have. They gave a really high approval rate, which is great. There's also Blue for Business, and there's the Capital One Spark card. So all of these that I mentioned are really good. If you even have like a low score, like a 6 or something, they have like good approval rates. Obviously, the better your credit, the more cards are going to approve you. So that's something good to also have in the back of your mind. Credit is honestly the most important thing when having a business, guys. I cannot stress this enough. I take care of my credit. Like, if you guys know me, you guys know how important it is for me to have credit, because in this country you are nothing without your credit. So it is extremely important to have personal credit first, and after you have your personal credit and you start with your business, then to build your business credit. Another thing that I want to also mention that's extremely important: when you start doing your applications for your loans, when you start doing the applications, you're going to have like an underwriter, you're going to have a person that's going to reach out to you, and they're going to ask you some questions. You want to make sure you are not going to say, and I want you to listen to this, you want to make sure you're not going to say that this is to open up or start up a business, because that is a red flag. That immediately they're not gonna approve you, they're not gonna give nothing to you, because they're gonna be like, okay, this person is just starting this business, what if it doesn't work out, and what if they don't pay us back? So you want to make sure that whenever they ask you the question that they always ask you, which is how are you planning on using these funds for, you want to be very specific. You want to either mention for marketing, you're going to mention for inventory, you're going to mention either for hiring staff, but you want to be the most specific possible. And you also want to make sure that you add that by receiving this funding is going to qualify me and take my business to another level by profiting more clients. So let's say if you have a beauty salon and you are applying for a loan, you can mention by I'm getting this loan to buy more products for my product line, for my extension line, or for my makeup line. You want to make sure that the answer you give them is something true, that is going to make them feel sure that they're going to be getting that money back. That is something extremely important. You also want to mention that by receiving this money, you are reassuring them that your sales are going to increase, because if your sales increase, they get their money back and you make profit, which is obviously what they want. It's a loan, and that's just the way that it works. So to summarize, I want to go over again the importance of having credit. And I also want to share a little bit of my story and how I started building business credit. So flashback 14 years ago, I honestly didn't have a business, didn't have nothing. I just had my personal credit. My personal credit, the first credit card I ever applied for was Capital One, which if you don't have a card, that should be your first card to apply for. They honestly give you like $500 like the first time. I feel like that's like everyone's first credit card. So I got that card and I started like slowly making payments little by little. And the point and the best advice I could give you once you have a credit card is you should only use 50% of your credit card. So let's say they approved you for $1,000. You want to make sure you only use $500. So only half. You don't want to use the $1,000. You want to use only half. And whatever half you use, you want to make sure you pay it off before 12 months. So before a year. You want to make sure everything's fully unpaid before a year. Obviously, it's great if you do what I call like a charge card. So let's say sometimes my charge card, what I do is whatever I use on my card, I immediately pay it off. So I'm constantly building more credit, and at the same time I don't have any debt because I'm paying it. As I use it, I pay it. As I use it, as I pay it. That's another tip that has helped me tremendously to keep my score really high. So going back to my story, the Capital One was my first card. After that, I obviously kept on paying. I started applying for other cards. Then I got the Wells Fargo card, my personal card. Then I got a Chase card. Then I Discovered card, a Discovered card. The Discovered card was really good also. And what I started doing is that with these credit cards, I started buying my own inventory for my makeup kit, because back then I didn't have enough money to have good products on my kit. And every single client that I would do, it just wasn't profitable enough to kind of like invest on my kit. So what I did is that with those credit cards, I basically invested the cards on my makeup products to add to my kit. So that is honestly how I started. Whatever business that you're starting today, or whatever business that you're at now, if you don't have funding and you have credit cards, I highly recommend for you to use that credit card money to make you more money. The point of a credit card, and I really talk about this a lot in my ebook, which you'll receive if you have this course. There's good credit and there's bad credit. So bad credit is when you get a credit card and you basically spend it on like clothes and jewelry, on stuff that is truly not gonna give you money back. Now, when you get a credit card and you invest it on good credit are things that are going to give you money back. So let's say you invested on a product that you're going to sell it and you're gonna make profit. That is good credit. It's an investment. You're gonna make back double or triple of whatever it is that you invested there. So it's very important for you to figure it out what it is that you're planning on doing with your business, and for you to invest in having good credit. And then after that, after you have, let's say you're starting a lash business and you need lashes, you want to start a lash line, then whatever card you have, you're going to use that card money to invest in your lash line. As your lash line starts picking up, you're going to be able to pay your credit card back, and you're also going to make profit. And as soon as you also start making business credit, you're going to start getting more loans and more funding. And it's basically like a little domino effect. The more they give you and the more you process, the more. I honestly get letters every single day to my house with "you're pre-approved, you're a preferred." Lately I've been getting one from BHG every single day. It's literally a yellow mail card. Every single time that I see it, I'm like, I already know it's that card. It's like they're tempting you to keep on getting more and more and more. But honestly, guys, this is the game of the millionaires. If you research all these millionaires, how they have achieved all this success, all of them, they don't really use their own money. They basically play with all this money that they're giving to you. You just gotta be completely smart, have a good business plan to make sure that you are going to benefit from this loan and that you're going to make money from it, and at the same time pay back the loan company. So having said that, I completely hope that you have a better understanding of what companies to reach out to, what to answer when they ask you these type of questions, and also how to know what is good credit and what is bad credit, and for you to pick the best option for you and for your future and for your career.